Deccan in the 17th century was under the Mughals, Nizam Shah and the Adil Shah. They controlled the state through Maratha Sardars. Two such Sardars were Maloji Bhosle and Lakhoji Zadov. They worked for the Nizam Shah. As per a story, during the function of Holi, Lakhoji remarked in a lighter vein that his daughter Jizabai and Maloji's son Shahaji would make a fine couple. Maloji took this remark seriously and announced publicly that his son was engaged to Lakhoji's daughter. Later, with the rising status of the Bhosle family, Shahaji Bhosle married Jizabai Zadov. Let us now see who controlled Deccan in 1630. The Mughals had captured North India for almost 100 years now. Nizam Shah ruled over Ahmednagar, Adil Shah over Bijapur, and Qutub Shah over Golconda. Berar was ruled by the Mughals and the Nizam Shah. Shahaji Raje was the Jagirdar of Pune, serving either the Mughals, Nizam Shah, or Adil Shah, always retaining his Jagir. Lakhoji Zadov was serving the Nizam Shah and was planning to defect towards the Mughals. The Nizam Shah had his doubts on this alliance and was fearing conspiracy. On 25th July 1629, Lakhoji Zadov, along with his three sons, was murdered by the Nizam Shah in his court at Daulatabad. After these incidents, Shahaji Raje defected to the Mughals. Jizabai was at Shivneri fort, expecting a child. Deccan faced the severe Mahadurg famine in 1630. This lasted for 2 more years. Pune was a warland disputed between the three sultanates. Administration was at loss. People suffered immensely. In these difficult times, Jizabai gave birth to a boy on 19 February 1630 at Shivneri fort. The fort has a temple of Shivai Devi, after whom the boy was named Shivaji Shahaji Bhosle. Shahaji Raje could see his son for the first time only after a couple of months of his birth. The Nizam Shah was falling, and as a last resort, Shahaji Raje placed a 10-year-old Murtaza as a titular head and put up a fight. This went on for a couple of years until the Adil Shah and the Mughals signed a treaty to end the Nizam Shahi Sultanate. As per this treaty, Shahaji Raje could retain his Jagir but was not allowed to stay there. He was sent south as an Adil Shahi Sardar. There, he started capturing Mysore, Bangalore, and other regions. He made Bangalore as his capital. Pune Jagir was left with his son Shivaji Raje as the nominal administrator and Dadoji Kondev as the manager. As mentioned earlier, Pune was a war zone and faced a big famine. War-waging enemies had burnt many villages. Most families had moved away in search of food. Villages were empty, law and administration lost. Forests were bursting with wild animals. In such situation, Dadoji Kondev moved to Pune with Shivaji Raje and Jizabai. Dadoji started with the building of a palace for the family, the Lal Mahal, at the confluence of Mula and Mutha river. This was Raje's house for many years to come. During the construction of Lal Mahal, an idol of Lord Ganesh was found. Jizabai ordered the construction of a temple for this idol, the present-day Kasba Ganpati Temple of Pune. People heard of work, food, shelter, and started coming back, thus resettling Pune. When Shivaji Raje turned 10, he was considered to be of marriageable age. The Nimbalkars of Faltan were one prominent family. Once Mudhoji Nimbalkar visited Lal Mahal with his daughter. Jizabai asked Mudhoji to marry his daughter to young Raje. Mudhoji agreed. Shivaji Raje got married to Saibai Nimbalkar on 10th May 1640 in Pune. It was one grand ceremony for Pune after a long time. Shahaji Raje was not present for this wedding as he was in Bangalore attending to his duties. Saibai stayed with her father at Paltan as she was still too young. Shahaji Raje stayed in Bangalore with his second wife Tukabai Mohite and elder son Sambhaji Bhosle. Dadoji Kondev, Jizabai and Shivaji Raje visited Bangalore approximately in 1642 when Shahaji Raje called upon them for a visit. Raje took a liking for the city, his elder brother and the company of his father very quickly. The stay was almost 2 years long. While returning, Shahaji Raje sent 4 of his trusted men, Shamrao Nilkant as Peshwa Balkrishna Hanmante as Muzumdar, Sonam Pant as Dabir, and Raghunath Ballar as Sabnis to help Shivaji Raje. A story states that Shahaji Raje wanted to attend his son's wedding but could not. So, when Shivaji Raje was visiting Bangalore, he was asked to marry Tukabai Mohite's niece Soirabai. This was his second marriage. Raje should be around 14 years old then. The first 14 years were full of learnings from Jizabai and the teachers appointed by Dadoji Phunde. Mahabharata and Ramayana were two major sources of learning. Many splendid virtues were imbibed in Raje, one greatest being respect for women. The next episode in his life explains how Raje commanded respect for women at a very young age. The head of Ranji village, Babaji Gujjar, misbehaved with the women of his own village. Babaji was arrested and presented in the Darbar at Lal Mahal. He found nothing wrong in his actions, as he thought the woman in question was his subject and he had the right to treat her in a way he saw fit. He cursed first and then begged for mercy when Raje held him accountable. Raje was swift in his verdict and punished him by ordering to chop off his limbs. One fine day, Raje went to the Raireshwar temple with Dadaji Naresh Prabhu, Netaji Palkar, Yesaji Kang, and Tanaji Malusare among others. At the temple, Raje took the oath of Swarajya with Raireshwar as the witness. The oath was to free his men from the slavery and to create the Hindavi Swarajya. It is believed that he slit his finger and dripped up blood on the shivling to take the oath. Raje was 16 years old then. In 1646, Shivaji Raje sent Baji Pasalkar, Yesaji and Tanaji with the force of Mawai to occupy the Torna fort by tricking the Bijapuri fort keeper. They took a loot amounting to 2 lakhs. The fort was renamed as Prachandagarh, but soon lost the new name and is still known as Torna. Later, a large treasure was found at Torna. This treasure was used for the fortification of other forts. The old fort of Murumdev, located in Gunjanmawar, was under Rajesh Jagir. Rajesh started the fortification work here and added 3 machis. The fort was then renamed as Rajgarh. Adil Shah questioned Shahaji Raje on these advances, for which Shahaji Raje replied that these forts were taken to restore the order after some internal fights of the locals. This cooled things off for a while. Raje's father-in-law, Mudoji Nimbalkar, was not ready to support the idea of Swarajya, as he had seen the worst of it when Shahaji Raje had tried the same. Raje talked Mudoji into supporting the cause of Swarajya. On learning this, Adil Shah attacked Paltan. The attack on his forts was still fresh in the minds of Adil Shah. Mudoji Nimbalkar was killed. Bajaji, son of Mudoji, was held captive and taken to Bijapur. Adil Shah had Bajaji converted to Islam and married one of his daughters to him. He wanted to insult Shivaji Raje with these actions, hoping Raje would stop. After the loss of his father-in-law, Raje had to face one more tragedy. His mentor, the caretaker of his Jagir, the loyal Sardar of Shahaji Raje, Dadoji Khundev, left the world. The exact date of his death is untraceable. It is around mid-1647. A branch of history believes Dadoji was trusted with Shivaji Raje's responsibility by Shahaji Raje, and the aggressive fort captures by Shivaji Raje had put Shahaji Raje in trouble at Adil Shah's court. Dadoji took this as a failure on his part and ended his life. Dadoji leaving the world must have shaken Raje. Dadoji Khundev was the Subedar of Kondana fort, and after his death, Adil Shah took control of it. Kondana was guarded by Siddhi Ambar. In the beginning of 1648, with the help of a common friend named Bapuji Narekar, Siddhi Ambar was turned in. Kondana entered the folds of Swarajya, and Siddhi Ambar stayed the fort keeper of Kondana for Shivaji Raje. The fort of Purandar was under the family with title of Nilkant Rao, one of Shahaji Raje's men. Mahadaji Nilkant Rao extended his support to Shivaji Raje and Swarajya. Thus, Purandar was available for Shivaji Raje when Adil Shah made his move. Adil Shah was rattled by Raje taking Kondana, and he went after Shahaji Raje, Sambhaji Raje and Shivaji Raje all at the same time. Fateh Khan arrived at Belsar by the orders of the Badshah. Raje was ready for the first battle of Swarajya at Purandar. Balaji Haibatrao took the small fortress of Shivroy named the Shubhan Mangal Fort for Fateh Khan. Kauji Malnar volunteered to take the lead for the Marathas. Shubhan Mangal Fort was taken in a day. Haibatrao was killed. Fateh Khan attacked Purandar. However, his right-hand man Musa Khan was killed by Godaji Jagtap and Fateh Khan started to retreat. Baji Palaskar of Moskore was lost in the victory. Baji, son of Kanoji Jede, Deshmukh of Rohit Kore, displayed noticeable bravery during the chase of Belsar and was therefore honored by Shivaji Raje with the title of Sarjirao. Raje followed up this victory against the Adil Shah's army by taking Chakan, Tikona, Lohagad and Rajmachi. The celebration of these victories must have stopped when the news of Shahaji Raje's arrest by Adil Shah was received. Shahaji Raje was arrested in Bangalore by Mustafa Khan and Baji Ghorpade on 25th July 1648. Kanoji Jede and Dadaji Krishna were also arrested along with him. After arresting Shahaji Raje, Mustafa Khan sent a force against Shahaji Raje's elder son, Sambhaji at Bangalore. These forces were defeated and scattered. Afzal Khan was sent to bring Shahaji Raje to Bijapur. Within 2 years of taking the oath of Swarajya, Shivaji Raje had captured Torna, Rajgarh, Kondhana, Purandar, Chakan, Tikona, Lohagad and Rajmachi. Adil Shah was irked by these actions and as a result, he attacked the Bhosle family. Shivaji Raje and Sambhaji Raje defeated the forces of Adil Shah successfully. Now, Raja had to get his father out of the clutches of Adil Shah. Attacking Bijapur was a very brave option, but that would be of high risk for Shahaji Raje and Swarajya, hence was not considered. Raje right away got in touch with Shahzada Murad through a series of letters. In return, Shahzada Murad sent a few letters to the Adil Shah in this concern. This gave Shivaji Raje some time and ensured safety of Shahaji Raje. Finally, the pressure tactics worked and Shahaji Raje was released on 16th May 1649. Kanoji Jede and Dadaji were released as well. Shahaji Raje went back to Bangalore and asked Kanoji Jede and Dadaji to serve Shivaji Raje in Pune. Shahaji Raje was under arrest for almost 10 months. For the pains he went through, the title of Farzand was bestowed on him by the Adil Shah as a token of goodwill. The release was a relief, but came at a cost for Shivaji Raje. Adil Shah asked him handing over the formidable Kondhana fort as a part of a release negotiation. Raje had to concede without a choice. It would have been a very easy decision to make for the release of his father. Shivaji Raje had great respect for saints and godmen of all the sects. One such saint of his times is Tukaram Maharaj, a revolutionary of a kind who supported Shivaji Maharaj and his Swarajya. There are accounts that mention the two have met each other. Tukaram Maharaj left the earthly life roughly around in 1649-1650. The news must have shattered Shivaji Raje. Ramdas Swami is considered as one of the spiritual forces that guided Raje. Ramdas Swami himself and the guild of his Swamis helped Swarajya in many ways. The Swamis could go anywhere without question and worked as spies for Shivaji Raje. The alliance between Ramdas Swami and Swarajya started roughly after the demise of Tukaram Maharaj. Adil Shah had taken ill, and after taking the Torna fort back, he was less worried of Shivaji Raje and his Swarajya. Shivaji Maharaj too utilized his time to fortify the forts at hand and bring as many men as possible under him. And the best way to make alliances was through marriages. Shivaji Raje was already married to Saibai Nimbalkar and Soirabai Mohite. Saibai and Shivaji Raje were blessed with a daughter, Sakubai. This should be around 1648-1650. It is noted that Shivaji Raje got married 4 more times between 1653 and 1654. The marriages recorded are with Putalabai Palkar, Sakwarbai Gaikwad, Kashibai Jadhav, Gunwantabai Ingre. The mention of marriages with Sagunabai Shirke and Lakshmibai Vichare are difficult to find, but should be during the same period. Shivaji Raje's elder brother Sambhaji Bhosle and Afzal Khan were battling alongside each other against the chief of Kanakgiri. Afzal Khan took a bribe from the chief to help him secretly. Raje Sambhaji was asked to take a lead on the battlefield, which he took, expecting a follow-up from Afzal Khan. he never turned up, and Sambhaji Bhosle fell to a cannonball. This can be dated between April 1654 and May 1655. Purandar was under Mahadaji Nilkant Rao, who passed away in May 1654. The fort was given to his four sons. However, they quarreled at ends over the control of the Jagir. Raja agreed to help the four brothers and settle the dispute. They were uncontrollable, and Raja took away Purandar, giving them land grants somewhere else in Pune. Netaji Palkar was made the fort keeper, and the Bhosle family made the mighty Purandar their home. Bajaji Nimbarkar and his young son Mahadaji were converted to Islam by Adil Shah. Adil Shah's daughter died and he lost interest in Bajaji. Raja talked to many Brahmins to understand how Bajaji and his young son can be converted back to Hinduism. The Brahmins were reluctant at first, but then obliged when Raja made them understand that compassion is higher than religion. Bajaji was taken back to Hinduism after some rituals of Shuddhikaran. Not just that, Shivaji Raje went ahead and married his daughter to Mahadaji. This showed Raje followed in spirit what he preached. These 7 years, Raje spent making alliances through marriages and in fortification of the forts at hand. Next we would see how the Maratha Empire started the expansion. The province of Zawai, a dense forest area full of valleys and hilltops, is strategically placed. One who controlled Zawai would control Vai province as well. In 1656, it was under Chandrarao Yashwantrao More, Chandrarao being the title of the family. More was becoming intolerable to Swarajya with his notorious behavior and inclined towards Bijapur. Ultimately, Rajesh sent Raghunath Ballar and Sambhaji Kauji with his select 100 men to kill Yashwantrao and take Zawai. Raghunath Ballar and Sambhaji Kauji entered Zawai and met Yashwantrao as a messenger. After a heated discussion, Yashwantrao ordered Hanumant More to kill them. However, Sambhaji killed Hanumant More instead. The men placed outside started an all-round attack. Shivaji Raje entered Zawai with his unit. Zawai was taken, but Yashwantrao ran away with his family to Rairi. Many More men were retained and given positions within Zawai by Shivaji Raje. One such, Murarbaji Deshpande, a brave soldier in More army, was caught and presented in front of Raje. He was given a choice to serve Swarajya. Murarbaji Deshpande agreed promptly. Shivaji Raje asked Moroppan Pingre to build a fort on a hilltop named Bhorpias Hill. The fort construction was completed with a temple of Tulsa Bhavani on it. The fort was named as Pratapgarh. Yashwantrao holed up in Rairi, which was a huge and difficult fort, but was ill prepared. Shivaji Raje had his men surrounded Rairi for 3 months to squeeze him out. Yashwantrao was arrested and Rairi was taken. Raje renamed it to Raigad. This was to be the capital of Swarajya in near future. The Mores were given a chance to rethink their position on Swarajya, but they didn't budge. Yashwantrao and his brother Prataprao tried to run away. Yashwantrao was captured. He didn't budge time and again. Ultimately, Raja ordered to behead the Chandrarao. This entire Zawai episode is dated between January 1656 to April 1656. The province of Supe was Jagir of Shahaji Raje and was governed by his brother-in-law Sambhaji Mohite, who was not in line with Swarajya. Shivaji Raje visited Supe on the occasion of Diwali and asked Sambhaji Mohite to hand over Supe province. Supe was taken. The details of the events occurred are not accurately noted. On 4th November 1656, Muhammad Adil Shah died of prolonged illness. His 18-year-old son Ali Adil Shah was placed on the throne, and his wife, Badi Begum, assumed power. This change led to disruption in the Bijapur court, and the Mughals decided to take advantage. Shah Jahan sent Aurangzeb to attack Bijapur. This led to a treaty, by the terms of which Adil Shah agreed to give up the old Nizamshahi territory and also pay a tribute of 15 million. This treaty was completed on 1st August 1657 after Aurangzeb took Kalyani. The fight between the Mughals and the Adil Shah was a big opportunity for Shivaji Raje. He started an offensive against the Mughals as well. He first raided Zunnar and got 3 lakhs in cash, 200 horses and much more costly clothing and jewellery. His other forces touched the gates of Ahmednagar. However, they were forced to retreat because of the reinforcement called by Aurangzeb. Mughals wished to attack the Marathas, but the violent monsoon started, and June, July, August of 1657 passed in enforced idleness. The 2 years between 1656 and 1657, Shivaji Raje started the expansion outside his Jagir. Zauri and the complete Mori territory from Mahabaleshwar to Raigad was taken. This opened the doors of Konkan for Shivaji Raje. On 14th May 1657, Shivaji Raje and Saibai were blessed with a boy at the Purandar fort. He was named after Shivaji Raje's elder brother as Sambhaji. Raje was 27 years old then. The Kondhana fort that was given up to the Adil Shahs for the safe release of Shahaji Raje seems to have fallen back under Swarajya in 1657. As per letters from August 1657, Kondhana is a part of Swarajya. There is no mention of what happened and when this was recaptured. Sometime in August, Raghunath Ballal was sent to Danda Rajapuri and he captured Tae and Ghosale forts. This was one of the first encounters with the Siddhi of Zanjira. The sea was not far away. On 6 September 1657, Shah Jahan fell ill and soon the news reached south. Aurangzeb had to start his journey up north for a war of succession against his three brothers. He started his move towards Delhi and the transition of the Nizam Shahi Konkan from the Adil Shahs to the Mughals, which was agreed during the treaty, was neglected. And Shivaji Raje took this as an opportunity to start his campaign in North Konkan. Shivaji Raje left Rajgarh on 3rd October 1657 and descended in Konkan through the Telbaila Pass. Saul was taken very easily. The people here had suffered immensely at the hands of the Mughals and were assured of freedom by Shivaji Raje. A part of Raje's forces, led by Dadaji Bapuji, moved north and captured Kalyan on 24th October 1657. This attack on Kalyan was unexpected and the loot gathered was enormous. Soon after, Bhiwandi was captured as well. Huge amount of buried treasure were found here. Raje soon reached here from Saur to make the necessary appointments and arrangements. The story of Subedar's daughter-in-law being presented to Shivaji Raje must have been of this time. It is said the astonishingly beautiful lady, on being presented in front of Shivaji Raje, was in tears. Raje said, "Had my Masai been so beautiful, I would have had the fortune of being handsome." And that the lady reminds Raje of Ma Sahib, and that she should be treated with utmost respect and dignity and should be sent back home. From Bhiwandi, Raje moved towards Maholi with a strong troop of 30,000 soldiers. Maholi fort was captured in 5 days on 9 January 1658. From here, Raje reached the safety of Rajgarh on 14 January. Shahaji Raje had made no correspondence with respect to his Jagir since 1655. Adil Shah was given an impression that Shivaji Raje had set aside his father's authority and was acting independently. Thus, Adil Shah accepted that Shivaji Raje was on his own and Shahaji Raje was not to be blamed for his actions. A letter dated on 27th May 1658 confirms the same. Soon after the conquest of North Konkan, Shivaji Raje commenced building warships at Kalyan, Bhiwandi and Pen. Raje sought help from 400 Portuguese workers and started building 20 ships to take on the Siddhi of the Zanjira. The Portuguese captains feared that Raje would attack their ships in near future using the same armada. These workers were asked to leave immediately in August 1658. This might have slowed down the building of ships, but it never stopped. Shivaji Raje put a political step forward with a series of letters with Aurangzeb, asking for protection from the Mughals and retention of the villages and the forts he captured. As per this correspondence, Sonaji Vishwanath Dabir was sent to the Mughals court as an envoy.
The conquest and the learnings from the first half of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's life. To begin with, Shivaji Raje took control of the forts in his own Jagir from the Adil Shah. Once he had his army ready, he took on the Moris of Zauri and doubled up his strength. After Zauri, Supi province was taken from Sambhaji Mohite. Tare and Ghosale were taken from Siddhi of Zanjira. Later, Chaul Kalyan, Bhivandi and Mahuli were captured. At the outset of his career, Raje had 1200 cavalry and 2000 Shilidars. After 10 years, at the end of the Zawi conquest, he had 7000 cavalry, 3000 Shilidars and 10,000 infantry. He also started building his own navy with 20 warships. In this video, we would now see what things can be learned from the chronicles of Shivaji Maharaj. Raje displayed from his actions how well he learned the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, warfare tactics, administration, revenue, judicial system and all such important things were picked up by Raje very diligently. The initial education is a must and there is no substitute to that. We should also ensure that the basics of the needed skills are learned first and then we venture further. In his early phase, Shivaji Raje took the forts which provided very little or no resistance. Also, he deployed tricks to get those instead of using manpower. He knew his limitations and strengths and acted accordingly. We should learn the same from him and put our act together. When Shahaji Raje was arrested, attacking Bijapur for his release had far bigger risk, and Raje read it correctly to deploy a more tactical way and sought support from the Mughals. Likewise, in challenging times, we should neither be bogged down nor should we overreact. Composed reaction to challenges is the answer. After the safe release of Shahaji Raje, Shivaji Raje spent the next 7 years in building alliances through marriages and gathering men for his army. He also spent time and money in fortifying the forts at hand. He understood the manpower he had was inadequate, and to take over the sultanates, he needed to grow. Similarly, we should first analyze what resources we have and what are lacking. The first step should be to plan and fill the gap and then proceed further. As soon as the army was ready, Raje first captured the Zawi province from the Moris and Supi province from Sambhaji Mohite. Raje had to attack them as they were the immediate neighbors of Swarajya, and for safeguard and expansion, capturing them was necessary. Similarly, we need to start with what is necessary and eventually we are moving towards the impossible. Shivaji Raje then planned the North-Konkan expedition and executed it successfully. The plan was perfectly laid and executed by capturing Chaul, Kalyan, Bhivandi and Mahuli in less than 4 months. If we fail to plan, we are planning to fail. It is as simple. We should lay a solid plan and then back it up with actions to complete the task. Raje knew Adil Shah would again hold Shahaji Raje at ransom, and hence, over the years, Shivaji Raje gave Adil Shah an impression that Shahaji Raje had no control over him and was not to be held responsible for his actions. Raje learned from his past experiences and also ensured mistakes are not repeated again. We too should learn from our mistakes and ensure they are not repeated. As soon as Shivaji Raje captured the territories close to the sea, he started building 20 warships with the help of the Portuguese. He must have put his best men to learn from the Portuguese, as the skill of naval shipbuilding was new to his men. Raje foresaw how important warships would be and ensured his men learned the trick for building the same. In this fast world, we should anticipate the future needs and acquire the skills needed. Dadoji Koldevs expected Shivaji Raje to take up a job with the Adil Shah, just like his father. However, Shivaji Raje broke the chain and decided to bear the torch of Swarajya. He decided to go against the system in place for the greater good of his people. Following the same old methods is easy. We need to look beyond what everyone is following and act innovatively. And last but not the least, on 2 occasions, one at the age of 16 and later at Kalyan, Raje showed how a woman is to be treated. Respect and dignity for women under all circumstances, come what may. We have tried to put together thoughts on Shivaji Raje and what we can learn from him. Do share your thoughts for the same through comments. Also subscribe to learn more about the second half of Raje's life. Jai Bhavani, Jai Shivaji.